Chosen one, I need you to drop your shoulders and take a breath. You do not have to hold the universe together for the next few minutes. You have been operating under a profound case of mistaken identity, entirely unaware of who you really are. You look in the mirror and see someone who is simply exhausted, someone who feels inexplicably drained by ordinary life. But you were guided to this exact frequency by a higher intelligence because it is time you understood the truth. Your spirit has been carrying an invisible, monumental weight. You have been processing generational grief, absorbing the unspoken pain of rooms you walk into, and holding an energetic standard that most people could never sustain. And you have been judging your fatigue against the timelines of those who are carrying nothing. You are not failing. You are not weak. You are experiencing the immense friction of a spirit that is far too large for the narrative you have been given. I need you to stay with me until the very end of this message. Most people will scroll away because the truth is too heavy, but if you stay, I promise you 3 things. First, you will finally understand exactly why you feel so crushed and stuck right now. Second, I will give you a specific protocol to release this heavy burden permanently. And third, before we finish our time together, I will lead you through a powerful activation that seals your true capacity and changes how you walk through this world. Do not leave, because this was appointed for you today. Notice how your chest feels tighter than it should. Notice how your sleep does not restore you anymore, no matter how many hours you get. Notice how your spirit feels crowded and overwhelmed, even when you are sitting in a completely empty room. Imagine standing in a crowded grocery store on a random Tuesday. People are walking past you, pushing their carts, checking their phones, living their normal, everyday lives. But you are standing there feeling like there is a massive iron anchor chained to your chest. The fluorescent lights feel too bright. The background noise feels entirely too loud. You look around and wonder why a simple afternoon errand feels like you have just run a marathon. You smile at the cashier, you carry your bags to the car, and the moment you close the door, you just want to collapse. This is the first sign of what you are carrying: unexplained fatigue. It is a tiredness deep in your bones that sleep cannot fix, a weariness that vitamins and rest days do not seem to touch. It is because your physical body is trying to process spiritual data. The second sign is the emotional waves that hit you without any logical trigger. You are having a fine day, and suddenly, out of nowhere, you feel a profound grief. Or a sudden crushing heaviness falls over you while you are just doing the dishes. You wonder what is wrong with you. You wonder why you cannot just be stable. But you do not realize that you are functioning as a spiritual filter for your environment. You are crying tears over pain that does not even belong to you. The third sign is your completely changed tolerance. You used to be able to sit through shallow conversations. You used to be able to engage in the drama, the gossip, or the meaningless routines of the people around you. Now, small talk drains the absolute life out of you. Environments that used to feel normal now feel suffocating. You are not becoming antisocial. Your frequency is rejecting what no longer matches its resonance. You have been diagnosing yourself wrong this entire time. What you have been experiencing, what felt like a physical depression or a mental breakdown, is actually spiritual compression. You are trying to fit the energy of an ocean into a small teacup, and you are wondering why the glass is cracking. It is not your fault. I want to introduce you to the first step of a framework called the frequency audit. You do not need to move. You do not need to write anything down. Just in your mind, right where you are, I want you to look at the exhaustion you have been carrying today. Visualize it as a heavy, dark coat resting on your shoulders. Now, ask your spirit one simple question. Does all of this heaviness actually belong to me? Do not think about the answer, just feel it. If the weight feels foreign, if it feels incredibly old, if it feels like it belongs to your family line or the world at large, it is not yours to carry. You are observing it, but you do not have to absorb it. If you felt that truth resonate in your chest just now, if something inside you just exhaled, type 777 inches, the comments below, to acknowledge the weight you have been carrying. This is why you have felt so stuck. Remember when I promised earlier that I would show you exactly why you feel so crushed? This is it. You have been carrying a spiritual weight that disguised itself as a physical struggle, but recognizing the weight is only the surface level. It is nothing compared to understanding what that weight is actually made of. There is something much deeper beneath what you are feeling right now, and that is what I need to show you next. The weight you feel is not just stress or emotional burnout. The weight you have been carrying is actually made of generational cycles that are finally breaking. It is the accumulated energetic debt of your bloodline, and you are the one chosen to clear it. You have been carrying the unresolved pain, the unhealed trauma, and the suppressed potential of those who came before you. There is an ancient Hebrew word that explains exactly what you are experiencing. The word is Kavod. Most people translate Kavod simply as glory. But in the original ancient text, glory was not something light and floating. Kavod literally means weight. It means heaviness. When the divine places its glory on someone, it feels heavy. You are not experiencing a breakdown. You are carrying the Kavod. It is a spiritual substance, a dense frequency of divine purpose that requires a massive vessel to hold it. If this message found you at the exact right moment, I invite you to stay connected to this space. There are more words being prepared for your next season, and you need to be positioned so they can find you. And I have to ask you something right now. When was the last time you let yourself just be human? You have been holding so much for so long that you forgot what it feels like to just exist without an assignment. You thought that pulling away from people meant you were failing at relationships. You felt guilty for becoming unavailable. But your isolation was never abandonment. It was insulation. The divine had to pull you away from the noise to protect the frequency you were holding. You were placed in a spiritual incubator because what you are carrying is too precious to be contaminated by environments that do not understand your calling. You looked at your life crashing down, your relationships fading, your interests shifting, and you thought you were losing yourself. You were not losing yourself. You were losing the false identity you built to survive in a world that did not understand you. The old version of you had to be dismantled so the true chosen one could emerge. Most people scrolled past this message minutes ago. They could not handle the depth of what is being spoken. But you did not scroll. You stayed. And that tells me everything I need to know about who you are and what you are ready to receive. You are recognizing your own reflection in these words. If something inside your spirit just clicked, if you finally recognize the divine weight that has been placed upon you, type the words, "I see it," in the comments. Let that be your quiet confirmation to the universe that you are finally understanding the assignment. The physical toll this spiritual heavy lifting takes on your mind is immense. I recently found a profound study from Princeton about something called the gamma switch. It explains exactly how the human brain handles this specific type of spiritual pressure and why you feel so drained. I will explain how that works and how you can use it to your advantage a little later. Now, let me show you what happens when this weight reaches its tipping point. Because there is an uncomfortable reason why you were the one chosen to carry this specific Kavod. The uncomfortable truth is this: you were chosen to carry it because you are the only one in your bloodline strong enough not to break under it. You are the structural pillar. If this weight had been given to anyone else in your family, it would have crushed them completely. But it was given to you because your spirit has the exact architectural integrity required to hold it, process it, and ultimately dissolve it. It is heavy, it is holy, it is yours. But here is the missing piece. Part of you is terrified. You think you are afraid of failing, but you are actually terrified of what happens when you fully activate your power. You are afraid of the visibility. You wonder what will happen to your relationships when you step into the full magnitude of your calling. You wonder if you will become someone you do not even recognize. Listen to me very carefully. That fear is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of immense wisdom. Those who crash and burn have no fear because they have no awareness of the weight they are carrying. Your healthy fear is the exact proof that you are ready. This is where I want to give you the specific protocol I promised you earlier to help you release this burden permanently. I call it the permission protocol. You do not need to move or write anything down. Just close your eyes in your mind and see yourself standing before the people you have been trying to save. In your mind, silently declare these words. You are allowed to protect what the divine is building inside you. You are allowed to outgrow people who demand you stay small. You are allowed to stop explaining your spiritual shifts to those committed to misunderstanding you. Feel the invisible cords detaching from your spine right now as you grant yourself this permission. This is the protocol I promised you. Use it every time the false guilt tries to return. Remember the gamma switch I mentioned earlier? This is where everything you have suffered turns into strategy. Why does carrying all this spiritual weight completely fry your nervous system? Science calls it the decline effect. As a chosen one, you were born with incredibly high levels of gamma waves. It is the God-given frequency of the chosen one, the brainwave tied to genius, intuition, and deep spiritual knowing. But the constant survival stress of carrying generational trauma and modern anxiety literally shut those gamma waves down. It turned off your natural frequency. Look at a 38-year-old seeker who recently walked this path. She had tried everything to handle her spiritual weight. Retreats, long meditations, endless healing sounds, but the deep connection never fully stabilized. She felt like her brain was just too exhausted to hold the frequency. Then she discovered how to physically reactivate her gamma state. 2 weeks later, she described her experience not with data, but with one word: synchronicities. She said, it was as if the universe suddenly started speaking to her in a language she could finally understand perfectly. I know what you are thinking right now. You have tried meditation, you have tried mindfulness apps, and you are wondering why this is any different. I will tell you exactly why. Because meditation takes months, sometimes years, to train a stressed brain to naturally produce gamma waves again. What that seeker used was clinical brain entrainment. It forces the brain back into its God-given frequency directly in just 7 minutes. This is not just another relaxing track. This is an entirely different mechanism. Normally, to activate gamma in a clinical setting with biofeedback therapy, it costs over $300 a session, or thousands for the home equipment. But Dr. Robert Lake, a neuroscientist, compressed this exact brain entrainment technology into a simple 7-minute audio track called The Genius Song. The standard cost is $49, which is already a fraction of clinical therapy. But because Dr. Lake wants this technology in the hands of those who actually need it to fulfill their calling, not just those with endless money, he reduced it to $39 exclusively for the people watching this specific message. Please listen closely. There are many fake websites and counterfeit tracks using the same name, but they do not contain the actual clinical brain entrainment technology. They are just empty audio that will do nothing for your frequency. To make sure you get the real technology, the 4 bonus materials, and the full 100% money-back guarantee, only use the verified link I have placed in the description and the pinned comment of this video. Investigate it only if your spirit bears witness and you feel led to take this step. But remember, the technology is just the tool. The spirit using it is what actually matters, because when you finally reactivate this dormant frequency, the world around you has no choice but to shift. What happens next is something you must be completely prepared for. When you finally awaken and your frequency aligns, the shift is not gradual, it is sudden. Let me tell you about a chosen one who was standing exactly where you are 9 months ago. They were facing a total collapse of their career, and the sudden, painful exit of people they thought were permanent fixtures in their life. Everything felt unimaginably heavy. But instead of panicking, instead of defending themselves or begging for doors to stay open, they completely surrendered. They practiced strategic silence and entered a dedicated period of absolute frequency alignment. On day 38 of their silence, a company they had never even contacted reached out to them. They were offered a contract double the value of what they had lost, and entirely new, aligned relationships began to appear out of nowhere. They proved themselves in the dark before they were promoted in the light. That is what happens when you stop fighting the weight and start aligning with your true capacity. Before I reveal who you really are, before we break the final seal on your true identity, gently press the like button. Do not do it for me. Do it so this message can reach someone else out there who is sitting in the dark, needing hope tonight. Now, listen to the absolute truth. You have absolutely no idea who you really are, but heaven does. You have spent your entire life thinking you were just struggling to fit in. You thought your deep empathy was a burden. You thought your sensitivity was a liability. I am telling you right now, your sensitivity is not a liability. It is elite spiritual intelligence. You thought the profound isolation of the past few years meant you were being buried under the weight of the world. You were not buried. You were planted. Let me introduce you to yourself. You are the bridge. You are the one who connects separated worlds, carrying light into rooms that have completely forgotten what light looks like. You are the cycle breaker. You are the one ending generational patterns of poverty, abandonment, and trauma, so the ones who come after you will never have to carry them. You are the wounded healer. You are the rare spirit who takes profound personal pain and alchemizes it into medicine for others. That is why the fire was so hot. That is why the weight was so heavy. You were never broken. You were being forged. You went into this season needing validation, and you are coming out absolutely secure. You went in reactive, and you are coming out remarkably responsive. You went in defensive, and you are coming out deeply discerning. You went in carrying the trauma of your past, and you are coming out carrying the profound glory of your future. If your spirit recognizes this truth, if you feel the confirmation deep in your bones right now, type the words I receive in the comments below to accept what is being spoken over you. Claim this identity. Let the universe hear you accept the truth of your immense capacity. But do not say Amen yet. Do not leave this space, because what I am about to declare over you next is the exact reason this message was placed in front of you today. Stay with me, because we are going to do something together that is not a regular prayer. It is an activation. You are not alone in this. Right now, all across the world, chosen ones are going through this exact same energetic shift. Wherever you are in this moment, I want you to perform a simple action in your mind. You do not need to move your body. Just open your spiritual vision. Imagine yourself wearing a massive, soaking wet coat of heavy iron armor. You have been wearing it for so long you did not even realize you had it on until this very second. Now, mentally, unbuckle it. Let it slide off your shoulders and crash to the floor. Feel the immediate, breathtaking lightness returning to your spine. Notice how the breath moves freely into your lungs again. If you can feel that invisible armor dropping, type the words "I release" in the comments right now. Let go of what no longer serves you. Now, empty your hands. It is time to step into your activation. We thank the infinite creator, the intelligence of the universe, for sustaining you through the heaviest, darkest years of your life. Thank you for the unseen hands that held you together when you thought you were entirely breaking apart. Heaven has witnessed every silent tear you shed in the dark. The universe has seen your profound confusion, your absolute exhaustion, and the quiet faithfulness you maintained when nobody else was watching and nobody else understood. We command a release over your life right now. Release the false guilt of outgrowing people. Release the imposter syndrome that tries to tell you that you are not qualified for your own destiny. Release the profound, bone-deep exhaustion of carrying generational timelines that do not belong to you. Release it. We call forth the cycle-breaker identity within you. We activate the deep, undeniable divine connection that is your absolute birthright. The spiritual doors that were held closed by your own exhaustion and disbelief are now blown wide open. We place a shield of absolute protection over your new frequency. We guard what is being built in you right now from premature exposure, from spiritual distraction, and from any force that tries to drain your returning energy. Say this in your heart with absolute conviction. I am ready to carry the glory, not the trauma. I am the bridge. I am the light. Type the words "I am ready" in the comments below. Say it and type it with the force of a lion waking up to its true territory. It is done. It is sealed. We receive it. Let the profound weight of this truth settle deeply into your bones. And one more thing before we part ways. You are not the same person who pressed play on this message. Your frequency has fundamentally shifted. If this message brought clarity to your deep confusion, if it brought peace to your internal chaos, let your like on this video be your amen without words. For those whose spirits confirm the gamma activation we discussed earlier, the link to the technology is in the description and the pinned comment below. Investigate it only if your spirit bears witness and you feel led to take that next step. Finally, if someone came to mind while you were listening today, someone who has been pulled away from everyone recently, someone who has been unusually quiet, someone who is carrying a heavy weight they cannot explain and trying to hide it behind a brave face, share this message with them, text it to them, email it, send it however you need to. Because this might be the exact confirmation they have been praying for in absolute secret. You are not just leaving a message today, you are leaving an entire season of exhaustion behind you. Step into your light.